So this video is all about confidence, how we can build confidence to reach our full potential and to be the best version of ourselves that is possible to be, and what stops us from doing that. So if you think back over your life, I'm sure you can think of times where maybe a lack of confidence has got in the way. I had a friend who took her driving test 7 times before she passed, actually. And it wasn't because she wasn't good enough to drive. Quite the contrary, she was actually really, really good. But she just didn't believe that she could. And then that became a self-fulfilling prophecy, and she kept failing. The one thing, she was completely determined though. She was determined, and it was that determination that got her through, and eventually she passed. But I bet you can think of times when a lack of confidence has stopped you from achieving something. And it's a shame, isn't it? Because then we don't reach our full potential. And then we start to have this idea of ourselves as not being good enough. And then we see those people in life. We've all seen them, haven't we? Those people that just exude confidence. And, they're really lovely people to be around. They're sort of, they're a bit like magnets, really, because, I don't know, it's just something that you want to aspire to. And there's this idea that they must be born like that. Well, it's true that some environments are better for developing confidence than others, but it's not true to say that we are born with confidence. It's actually down to the way that we think. And if we can control how we think, then given time, we can change our thoughts so that we can build our confidence. And it's not based on our ability to succeed at all. It's based on our belief in our ability to succeed, to learn something new, to get through that driving test, to set up a business or something else that we want to do. But the key is our beliefs. So let's think back to those. Our beliefs are not always an accurate reflection of the truth. Our beliefs are biased on our feelings that we had around certain experiences. And they colour our perception, don't they? They're not always helpful or accurate. And they influence our actions. But the good thing is we can rewire our brain. And this is called neuroplasticity. In our lives, we have 2 stages of neuroplasticity. The first one is up to the age of about roughly 5. And the second is in our teenage years. And during these times, our brains rewire themselves very, very quickly at great speed according to experiences that we have. But that's not to say outside of those 2 stages of development that we can't rewire our brain. We can, and it's down to the way that we think. So there are 2 things that we need to do that. One is consistency. Whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, we have to be consistent in our attempts to do it. So we have to keep doing it over and over again. Think about learning to play the piano, for example, or learning to drive a car. You've got to keep trying, and eventually you get there. So it's the consistency. But it's also having the courage to take a risk, to take you outside of your comfort zone. And then if you do, and you experience a degree of success, there is your evidence then that you can be successful, and you can build on that and expand it. I have to say there will be times in our life where building confidence might be more difficult. And confidence isn't it's not an absolute, it's not there consistently all the time. There will be times when it's harder to be confident. I don't know, if you go for a job and you don't get it, it's very normal to feel a sense of rejection or upset around that. And, don't try and deny yourself those feelings. They're very, very normal. Or maybe you've had a period of illness and, you've gotten out of practice in doing something that you want to do. And it would be normal again to lose your confidence. So you can accept that there will be times that where your confidence might be knocked. But also, we need to build our confidence internally rather than it being based on those external events. So that when things don't quite go to plan, it's not going to have so much of an impact on you. Okay, how? How do we do that? The first thing is you pretend. Your brain believes what you tell it. All the things that we imagine, excuse me, our brain believes they've actually happened. So if you pretend you already have confidence, then it's surprising how that can influence what happens next. In my therapy room, I often get clients to think about, if you were confident, what would you see? What would that look like? What would be different? And in creating this kind of image in the brain, your brain hears it, sees it, and responds to it. Really, that's all anxiety is, but it's just kind of down the negative end of pretending, if you like. So, and it's just thinking of yourself as being one step further down the line than where you are at that present moment. So if on a scale of confidence between 0 and 10 you were on a 3, it's about thinking what a 4 would look like. Maybe not a 10 because that might be too overwhelming. But if you can imagine a 4 is slightly outside of your comfort zone, isn't it? And it's something, thinking about what that would be like, that's potentially doable. So take the risk. And what happens if you do take the risk? You're no worse off, are you? You're no worse off than you are now. You're not a different person because you took the risk and perhaps it didn't work. You could take the risk and you could actually succeed. And that is what you need to keep your brain excited, because if we don't take risks, if we don't push ourselves, then we're denying our brains the ability to move forward, to grow, to have new experiences, and it becomes quite stagnant, and then we can become quite fed up because our brain loves novelty and it needs all of this to keep it stimulated. And by doing all this, you can build these new skills and build new beliefs in yourself, build self-efficacy, if you like. And then you can experience more and more and more. And then as time goes on, your comfort zone extends. And, where will it end? Because actually, as human beings, we're fairly limitless. But it all starts from just imagining and pretending that you already have that confidence. Just a little bit more than you have now. And that's incredibly doable, isn't it? And you can make it really visual in your mind. The more detail that you add to it, what would you notice about what you're doing, how you're walking, how you're speaking, how you're thinking. Add the details in and make it really visual, as if you were watching yourself on a video. The other thing that you can do is think about the way that you are presenting yourself. So if you need confidence, stand tall, be self-assured, kind of channel someone who is very, very confident and emulate them. And watch how people respond to you, because they will respond to you quite differently. And then that in itself will give you the confidence in what you're doing. If you go into a job interview and you sit there exuding confidence, even if you don't feel it, then people respond to you as though you are. And then it all starts to kind of develop this rather positive flow in any given situation. So think of those people that you aspire to and channel them. And keep your eye on your end goal. If it doesn't work, don't give up. Keep your eye on that end goal. Keep believing that, okay, it didn't work this time, but keep your eye forward instead of going back to, oh, I can't do it. Keep your eye on the end goal. Believe it or not, I'm not a great fan of making videos, and I have to make them quite a few times. And it is quite easy to get dispirited when they don't go as you hope that they would. But you keep your eye on the end goal. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? And if you do, you will get there. And the last thing to remember is just to keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you get. The more experience you have, the more evidence you've got, that then becomes integral to your belief in yourself. Practice, practice, practice. So if this video has been helpful to you, please do give me a like and subscribe to my channel.